Let's just do it.
Also,
all right.
fuck Instagram.
We may or may not be on Captain America 4, I guess is the fourth one.
This is the fourth one.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that. Make sure that you like and subscribe for this and all the other nerd shit that we throw on whenever we feel like it. So let's get into it. What, as we normally do, let's just do general feelings on the movie. Lewis, let's start.
I find it good. I don't I like him reintroducing Hulk, the Hulk thing, but I feel like they should have introduced a different kind of I like the Red Hulk, but I feel like they should have brung back a Green Hulk or something to help him.
Yeah, She-Hulk. Bad guys that just make more sense. But I mean, I'll go with mine. I was just kind of meh. Just make more sense. But I mean, I'll go with mine. I was just kind of meh on this movie. I mean, you want to go lighter in the elevator from Winter Soldier moment. There's nothing like that happening in this movie. I think the only thing that you really have is the Red Hulk, which they fucking gave away 8 months ago. You know what I mean?
And this is the biggest problem with the movie, I think, is what do you show as a trailer if you don't include any part of the Red Hulk? Because ultimately, what is this movie about? It's apparently about leading up to the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Because all these other things in the movie, in the end, don't, which is weird. You have this espionage plot, you have this Manchurian Candidate style setup and everything like that, but the movie in the end decides, nope, this is about revealing the Red Hulk. And then we're done. I'm like, okay, but what about the rest of the stuff that was interesting up to that point? Like the conflict between Sam and Ross on the ship and everything. That conversation, I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed all the 70s era.
Sleep through all of it, and I only fell asleep for a little bit. Actually, both me and Lewis fell asleep. He fell asleep at a different time than I did. So it was such a cop-out. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you just say, wait until you meet the X-Men? Or wait till you meet...
I was just going to say, it just was a big, long sequence. So, the thing, it was just, talking, and then, okay, I was like, okay, cool, all this villain stuff is happening, anything that happened with this other guy. Nope, just he turns into the Red Hulk, ending thing, fighting, and then the ending, you don't really learn anything about this other guy or what he's gonna do. You just learn he gets, captured, or whatever. I mean...
He turned himself in right for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned himself... You remember when we did this? Or remember when someone did this, even? Well, here, we did it too. But what we did...
This is an unofficial sequel to The Incredible Hulk.
Fucking 17 years ago, or whatever that movie came out. Look, I think... This movie, I feel like, suffered from the transition that they're going through right now, to where they were pumping stuff out, not really knowing where they were going, and then they tried really hard to make it a real movie, but still introduce all the things that they need to happen going forward. They needed there to be a Red Hulk. They needed, I think, the leader, because I think the leader will probably have something to do with stuff later on. You know what I mean? We'll talk about it in the end, but I have some theories about kind of this little movie, but it was really kind of an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where this Brave New World should have been what they said to start. Go assume is a raging monster, so obviously he gets more mad, he gets more powerful, so it could still be a threat. And you could have your Sam Wilson still trying to deal with the Japanese and all this with the fighter jets. So everybody's got something to do. That actually serves to, I don't need to have powers to be the leader of this team. You know, and you could have that be a thread throughout, like Tony Stark's was. You know what I mean? Because that's a fact. He doesn't have super soldier serum, and he's got weak tech compared to Iron Man. And so what makes him like all the shit happened in the movie Matt.
Fight. Because I'm not worried about that she showed up in the raft at the end, but then she didn't fight. Because I'm not worried about that she showed up in the raft at the end, but then she didn't, and then Sam talks in, is able to talk down after blasting him with the percussive blast. But it's like, it seemed like that was changed in transition to have Sam still be the one to be able to talk him down in the end when there was necessarily no logical reason other than he's kind of disoriented him now. A lot of this movie, for anybody who pays attention to the backstory of the movie, that is movie looks like it's a mess of a couple different things that they threw together. It's a mess of a couple different things that they threw together at different points in time, and because the best they could. And like I said at the very beginning, it more makes it seem like it's a Falcon and the Winter Soldier set of episodes mashed together as a movie, as it
Or it was Falcon and Falcon that paid to win on this video game
Falcon
because
is
he bought all the upgraded armor.
Yeah.
Lewis, do you even remember that there was a ex-Black Widow lady working for the president? Like, there's so many things that in this movie, it is so obvious that it's like, there was so much more. Like, in Room or whatever, Black Widow.
It almost seemed like they wrote another season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And they condensed everything down. But I made a comment to my wife that it's like, was she in Black Widow, the movie?
Yeah, I don't think she was.
Well, she was. I went back and looked at IMDb and I hope she wasn't.
Yeah.
But it seemed like she would have been, and she's one of the ones that got turned over. And like, okay, well.
Well, they near as many people did,
Because it was on Disney Plus. It wasn't in theaters because of the dark times.
Which previously was the least best. But next to Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America was the best trilogy in the MCU. Falcon Winter Soldier might be individually like the best solo movie. He feels pointless until the next thing happens. You know what I mean? Where it's like that Age of Ultron thing where it's like, oh, now Age of Ultron is good because they made
They're pulling so many things for Age of
WandaVision and
Ultron.
they did this, and it's just like, okay, well, I guess that's kind of cool that you can do that, but that's disappointing sometimes when I feel like they're leaning.
One thing about me, I've continuously said since we watched the series originally, that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the most in the middle project of all the TV series.
Yeah, that's fine for a TV series, I think, even if it is kind of in the middle because it was more like a buddy cop thing.
Yeah.
A kind of an action. That's okay. That's the Rookie. That's your Jag and your different. What all these things that lasted for like 20 fucking years. CSI. Like that could work as a TV show, but for a Captain America movie, especially introducing a new Captain America. Now, and here's the thing. He should have took that fucking serum in the show. Even with Bucky saying, oh, well, you're someone that these people can actually aspire to. Apparently everybody fucking can because you can get this shit like candy. It's not like you can't just go and take this fucking drug that this dude took, you know what I mean, and be the new Captain America. You just made one in this show that you're going to have in the Thunderbolts too, Yeah, some of them can't handle it and they go crazy like, John Walker kind of did, but he's going to redeem himself, so he's going to be fine, obviously. And Falcon could have took it and he would have been one of those Steve Rogers kind of guys that it wouldn't have affected him that bad, but I mean, come on, you're having him fight the fucking Red Hulk. You know what I mean? Like Lewis just said it. As long as you have international governmental funding, you could be a superhero too. Like that is less of a thing that is feasible to, in this MCU world, that's less feasible that you could be isolationist, like, then you could get superpowers in this universe because everybody fucking gets superpowers in this universe. And so, yeah. So the whole aspirational thing is just whatever. I mean, just take the serum, you know what I mean? Or give him a better reason not, or, you know, or give him the same reason not to, but don't put him up against that threat, you know, with the Red Hulk. And, you know, Sam kind of having to handle these fighter jets and do this stuff. And then he remembers talking to Ross about his daughter, about this cherry blossoms, gets the idea, She-Hulk, get him over here. And then he gets down and he talks him down. Okay, now again, you know, even if you didn't introduce all the Avengers, but you give it a blow from the Hulk, you know, should just, you know, just would have just decimated him instantly, and that should be the level that the Hulk's on. And so it's even feasible for him to overtake the She-Hulk, you know, and like I say, even a whole team of the Avengers, you know. I mean, goodness, that's the original Avengers team. The very first episode, they went against the Hulk, all of them, you know. So, and it was tough.
If they would have at least like dragged it on with the whole like make the Avengers team, you could have got like anybody, just like anybody with like a superpower close to that, and then they could come help you, and at least it'd be a two on one versus the Hulk. That'd make it a little more fair since this guy has no powers, and make it seem a little more realistic, especially if this guy's getting thrown around like a doll.
Yeah, it just your introduction to one of what I'm going to talk about in spoilers, I think, is 3 Avengers teams you need to put together by Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Really, I think to make... No, I know.
Because
Well, you would if you had introduced at least one of the teams in this.
Because we got Thunderbolts and we got Fantastic Four, and that's it. I think before Doomsday.
Yeah, and then
Thunderbolts is
Doomsday.
going to handle one of the teams.
Yeah.
And I think...
Fantastic Four is just gonna worry about Fantastic Four.
I think you're going to introduce actually your young Avengers team in between.
Timeline of it is, but it seems like it's back earlier than
Well,
this.
Ironheart was another one that was already shot, so it's going to probably be dog shit, just like, you know, it's going to be that jumbled mess of writing, you know what I mean? That now, you know, I have higher hopes for Fantastic Four, you know, and the Thunderbolts, because they didn't really go through as much as this. They were...
I keep on the Falcon and Winter Soldier continuation. It should have been. It was originally going to be, and couldn't do the project for the full movie anymore. So now you lost the Winter Soldier. Because even just having the Winter Soldier there to go up against the Red Hulk and make him two on one in that situation would have
made a lot more sense.
Made a lot more sense, and made it, make the victory not say mean something
Also
more, but
with
make the
the
victory
whole-
more realistic. So.
Also, with the whole Isaiah Brown Manchurian Candidate kind of bullshit that was going on in it, it would have...
And yeah, no, Isaiah Bradley gets lost in all of this, which is unfortunate. Because
Yeah.
the character's a great character, but if you haven't seen Falcon the Winter Soldier, who is he? I mean, realistically, who is he? There was a lot of exposition at the beginning of this movie, but it's still, I don't, because they realized, oh, we have to tell people these things because they may not have seen Falcon the Winter Soldier. But even with Isaiah Bradley, it's like, you really have to see Falcon the Winter Soldier to really understand who he is in the ultimate of everything like that, if you haven't seen this other thing.
And if you're going to bring him in, his most important Patriot or whatever, such on the back foot of introducing so many of these characters. And I feel like, you know, they need to take a page out of the original Iron Man, okay? The Rhodey thing was so perfect in that movie because you were getting everything. He just does that next time. It's kind of corny, you know what I mean? But, you know, you have one scene where or what you do is you have more of those training scenes and stuff be with his grandson. You know what I mean? Have him and his grandson do it. And then if you want to do anything to show something of what he's going to be, you know what I mean? You have, again, you just have this, all the weight they tried to put on it, didn't feel natural. You know, I didn't really like the new Falcon. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's unnecessary. And then he's in the hospital. It didn't mean a lot. I like the guy that plays him. I like that he's his little tech guy and stuff like that. It's fine that give me some variety. You do this all the time. You either have a copy of your main dude, you know what I mean? And it's just
Well, I guess that's one thing we should praise this movie for. The villain was not a alternate version or a negative version of the hero.
no, but they
For-
still
for-
gave you
I know,
bird people.
I know they did, but they're on the same team. So I mean, it's like, yay, you move forward in this. Although at the same time, was that the original ending to this movie?
Yeah.
Who knows? I didn't hate Falcon in this movie, but the scriptwriter sure hated him. It's like, I don't need him for the last act. Just get rid of him. Throw him out of the way. Yeah. Also, Giancarlo Esposito was in this movie.
Yeah, he was.
In case anybody.
He was.
Yeah.
And he did great. Listen, this is one thing that I want to say too. Harrison Ford didn't feel like he was phoning this in.
No.
He felt like he was taking this movie very seriously.
Yeah.
He was taking over a role for a friend of his too, you know what I mean, that passed away. And he was great in this movie. Did not have the best lines in every scene, but he did have some pretty good ones. They didn't mean a lot to do a lot of stuff, but you felt it. The guy that plays the Falcon did great. His name that plays Samuel Stearns, like they're all doing great. This movie just felt so patched together, and it lacked.
Cut down to make.
But let's each go and talk about for a second about what our favorite part of the movie was. So Lewis, what was your favorite part to come out of this movie?
I definitely loved the fighting scene. It was great with the Hulk and Falcon. But that was probably my favorite scene because really everything else wasn't really as exhilarating. Superheroes and stuff and like
We waited
fighting.
a long time for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
We have one.
And like we want an action one, right? I mean, I want an action Marvel movie again, but I add some people in that movie, but then it kind of dimmed down, and I was just like, whatever. So.
Yeah, that was exciting when he said that at the beginning. I was like, all right, cool.
Now that you're making me think about it, was Guardians 3 the last actual Marvel movie? Because Deadpool's a crossover.
Well,
Dead-
and even Guardians.
Dead-
The portions of the movie that were a full set on their own. Like,
Yeah.
all those parts I enjoyed. Put them together as a movie, which is what they did, and it doesn't work as well together.
Yeah.
Which is
So we could have
we're,
technically made a show.